Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about J.T.Daniels and what impact he'll have on the Georgia Bulldogs season is the man himself, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Hey, what's going on, Jeremiah? Another great Monday. That means football with us, man.
Yeah.
We always love talking football on Monday mornings, bright and early, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, we got a good show today. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm especially looking forward to it because as we get into talking about football for this season, and as the season starts to gear up and everybody starts getting, through their summer practices and we start gearing up for the fall of football, it's going to be a football season. And we're going to be there, and we're, broadcasting live from Atlanta, Georgia. And the first thing that comes to mind is I want to go see a Georgia football game. And so
it's a must.
It's a must. So, so we're going to be keeping our eye out for what's coming down the line here. And tell me, what is going to be J.T.Daniels' impact on the Georgia Bulldogs season this year?
Well, first, before you talk about what this man has done in college, let's go back to high school because his high school stats, every time that we've talked about a player, whether it be a quarterback, running back, something on the defensive side, this guy might have the most impressive high school stats I've seen out of all the gentlemen we've talked about in a long time on this show, Jeremiah. So when he was in high school out in California, out in Santa Ana, in his whole time in high school, he threw for over 12,000 yards. He threw for 152 touchdowns, and he averaged around 293 yards a game. So with only 14 interceptions, mind you. So he had an absolutely stellar career in California, man. I believe he was a 5-star prospect, highly coveted. Everyone was clamoring for this guy, and the USC Trojans just so happened to, hey, we'll scoop you up. We'll bring you out here. You can stay out here in California, sunny California. Yep. You can come out here, and you can do what you do best, and that is play some football. Now, hey, we're talking about him at Georgia, so as you can tell, things didn't go exactly as planned out there in California for the USC Trojans. He got injured a little bit. He wasn't fully himself, but it's all right though, because while he does have that amazing hype around him, like I said, with those high school stats, in college he wasn't bad either. It wasn't like he was ever, like a bust quarterback or anything like that. It's just he played his freshman year. He did fine. He threw for 2,672 yards, 14 touchdowns, but a little bit interception heavy at 10 of those. So not the best. Then his sophomore year, that's when he got injured. Only played one game, so he didn't get the most playing time. That injury really hurt him. The backup came in, did a really phenomenal job, and I think JT just kind of had a moment to himself, thinking, this guy's playing really good. I think it might be best in order for me to get a lot more playing time if I transferred. So he came to UGA, University of Georgia, this past season. And I mean, man, I remember going into the 2020 season. First off, we were just hoping to get some football.
Right.
But second is the big question was who's going to be the quarterback, because I remember we talked about it. We thought it was going to be Jamie Newman. We thought he was going to lead the charge for the Bulldogs, but he decided to opt out the entire season. So that kind of really put a huge question mark on, who is going to be the quarterback for the Bulldogs in the 2020 season. And they tried out every quarterback they could think of. They were waiting for JT to come back from his injury to heal. But, man, they thought they had a diamond in the rough with Stetson Bennett, the mailman, as everyone liked to call him down here, because he had a solid few games here. He looked good. He was, I believe, the third or fourth string quarterback that, was hardly ever probably going to get some playing time, let alone be a starting quarterback for an SEC program. Yeah. So he had a good start. Then he kind of fell off. Then you kind of was seeing why he was a little bit lower on the depth chart. But it's all right, though, because J.T.Daniels, right around that time when Stetson wasn't playing his best football, that's when J.T. decided to come back and help out the Bulldogs, man. So in 4 games, he threw for 1,231 yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions, including a perfect 4-0 record. And all the games he's played. Hey, that included a bowl win, too. They won the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati. So overall, he had a really good performance in just, a handful of games. But man, I mean, just for him to be hurt for so long, the kind of the road he had to come back from being a 5-star, highly touted recruit, going to USC, having a good freshman season, having a pretty good freshman season, getting hurt, and then making that big step because he could have stayed in USC and just had a quarterback battle with Keaton Slovis. But he decided to go a different route. He decided to transfer, come down south, and try his luck for the UGA Bulldogs. And he knew he wasn't going to be able to play early last season. He knew he wasn't going to be the starter day one. But he worked back. He got his injuries under control. And in the few games that we saw from the young man, he had a really good showing. He threw for 67% also. So he was accurate. He had a few deep balls. He had a lot of touchdowns. And he got perfectly. Hey, the big thing, wins. 4-0. You can't get much better than that. So he's got a very high ceiling, I think, coming into this 2021 season. Because you saw a preview of what he could do. But this is the real test, I think, Jeremiah. This is the real test to where we can see, okay, is J.T.Daniels, is he for real? Are we going to see some of those insane stats I mentioned that he had in high school? Is he going to start putting up those kind of performances? Is he going to be throwing for thousands of yards, getting 20, 30-something touchdowns? We'll have to see. But Georgia, as we know, man, they had a lot of guys get drafted in the 2020 NFL draft. So we'll have to see how he can do with a lot of new pieces. But that's the thing with college, man. It's like it's a revolving door constantly. It is tough to coach because, some of your talented players barely make it a season or two. And, it's just hard to get good recruits consistently. That's why it's so impressive with Georgia's rival, Alabama, how they're always seemingly on top for whatever reason. And Georgia's always seems to be right there with them, though. Georgia always does a tremendous job of coaching and scouting and getting some solid players who can help get that team to hopefully an SEC championship and hopefully to a national title. They're right there on the brink, I think. They didn't have the best season last year with all their quarterback woes. But I think it's a fresh season. They can come out the gates, I think, swinging and have a really good impact. And I think J.T.Daniels is going to be the one to lead that charge for the UGA Bulldogs. And I think that he's going to have a tremendous season. I want him to have a good season. He's got all the talent in the world, good throwing motions, good power, great accuracy as well. As long as he can just, keep the ball at the hands of the defenders trying to pick him off, that's the big key. But this guy's got a tremendous ceiling. I hope he has a great season. And I think that as long as he's on the field, he's going to help out the Bulldogs and get them a lot more wins. And we'll see how far they can go in the 2021 college football season.
Absolutely. So with J.T.Daniels, it sounds like he's well-rounded. It sounds like he's in the right program. It sounds like he has some great people around him, including, just an amazing offensive line. So do you feel like his biggest key to victory is to stay healthy?
I think so. I really do. Because like I said, his freshman year when he came out, he's a freshman. He was a little nervous. It's all good. Trying to get used to everything. He threw for, like I said, 10 interceptions. But I feel that since he's had a long time to recover, he was out for, pretty much a whole season. He played one game in his sophomore year. And then he had then he transferred. So he's just been working his butt off to try and get back on the field. And I think that's a key to just how determined he is to be a winner, to help out himself, most importantly, get that draft stock up, help out his team, get some wins. And he showed like I said, in just those 4 short games at the end of the season, that he is a guy that I think you can say confidently that he is going to be your starting quarterback in this upcoming 2021 season. And hey, he got you a bowl win too. So Georgia, after not having the best season last year, they would take that Peach Bowl win against Cincinnati. And J.T.Daniels had a solid game in that. And I think that even though that sample size was very small, I think it's all right, though. I think he'll be fine. They played the all-SEC schedule last year and with all the COVID stuff going on. So I believe the schedule is being released very soon. So we'll be seeing the game previews for that upcoming for sure. So we'll have to see who all he's going to have to go up against. But it's the SEC. It's
Right.
going to be a tough match no matter who you're playing. It don't matter if you're facing the Arkansas or if you're facing the Alabamas or Floridas. It's going to be a tough task, but I think that Mr. Daniels is up for the challenge, and I hope he has a great season.
Yeah, I do too. And we also hope that the Georgia Bulldogs have a great season. If you are a Georgia Bulldog fan, please tell us in the comments, what are the keys? What are the things the Georgia Bulldogs need to do to be able to kill it this season? What does J.T.Daniels need to do? Do you agree with us that he just needs to stay healthy and keep on slinging? Or are there other things that he needs to be thinking about, including does he need to get tighter with the coaches? Are there members of his offensive line that he needs to really dial in on? And do they need to spend some time off the field, talking and getting their thoughts together before they really go and kill it? So let us know what you think in the comments. And if you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, or on Facebook, then please take and share this video over with your friends, family, and over into Facebook groups. Every time you share this into a Facebook group, we get a huge response. So thank you so much for organically helping us to grow here at 100 Yards of Football. And if you're not listening to our podcast yet, definitely jump over and listen to our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, including on Spotify, where we have a great following, and we really appreciate all the follows and all the feedback we're getting, or over on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us anytime that you like over there. Just look up 100 Yards of Football, and our podcast comes out every single day. You're going to get a nice little bite of information about the football world, including some information about what the high school players are coming into the college system, the great players in the college systems, and of course the great players in the NFL systems. And that doesn't include just profiles. We also talk directly to some of the best coaches, some of the incoming NFL draft picks, and some of the people in the sports world, such as other broadcasters and sports agents. So listen to 100 Yards of Football podcast every week, and definitely let us know if there's anything else you'd like to hear from us. Well, for the entire team here at 100 Yards of Football, I'm Jeremiah Long, the producer, and you've been listening to Logan Landers, our host, give a big breakdown on what J.T.Daniels needs to do this season to keep up with the Georgia Bulldogs and keep them moving forward in the SEC. Thank you so much for watching, and we're going to be right back with another live video.